important thing. So if we break this down on the 5-minute time frame, the 5-minute time frame is going to show us exactly what was happening inside of this region. So we can see the same aggressive move to the downside. We see lots of selling volume coming into the downside. Now, what's interesting when we go into the candles over here, for those who don't use the ATAS platform, this is the ATAS platform I use to read volume. Volume and delta. So what's actually happening is we can see price coming in with extreme levels of aggressive selling. In fact, you only need to read a few numbers to understand what is happening. So we see 107 for 0, right? This here corresponds to this candle over here. So let's really break things down, right? Candle for candle. We can see price coming in over here. This candle had significant number of aggressive sellers, right? This region. So this candle corresponds to this 107 for 0. Very, very important. Now from here, if we go slightly lower, we look at the final rejection candle, right? So I've spoken to some traders. They don't understand what a rejection is. This is what a rejection is. So when you come into a bullish fair value gap, the way you determine if it's going to hold and reject higher is truly by understanding what is happening here between the buyers and the sellers, right? So you need to see what's happening here before you take price to the upside. So let's just break this down one more time. You need to understand what is happening here before you take price to the upside. So you need to be reading this price action, right? So what I've circled over here. So what I've circled over here, we're going to break this down in terms of the order flow, but you don't need to read all these numbers. You just need to read the last numbers, right? So 223 for 60. There's significantly more selling volume than there is buying volume. The bid is significantly higher than the ask, which means that there's more aggressive sellers than there are aggressive buyers, right? Notice how we also see a 0 here at the bottom. So when you see a 0, this means that the auction is finished, and this significantly increases the likelihood that price is going to go up higher. So think of a 0 as the buyers and sellers agreeing on a fair price. You know the markets are going to move higher or lower. So how do you know if they're going to move higher or lower? Well, it's quite simple to understand, really. What we've seen over here is we've seen tons of aggressive sellers, right? But if these aggressive sellers